I've been an educator all my life. I was a school teacher before I was working as a tertiary educator, and I work in the field of education. So for me, what's really important in terms of supporting students and being an educator is actually providing them with the support to feel confident in being in control of their own learning journey, since I teach all distance education students now. I want to make them feel confident users of the technology, because that's certainly something that's important in their professions, in terms of the information profession or the teaching profession, and giving them some ideas about how they can develop their independence in establishing their own professional learning network in order to continue their own professional learning journey after they finish their studies with us at university. The redesign project, or the curriculum renewal project that I was involved in, basically involved my work as an academic, as a technology innovator, tester, player, a risk taker when it came to working with other staff to explore technologies that could potentially be compatible to the learning design of a particular subject that an academic was revising, or to support some of the new subjects that our school was developing. So really for us it was trying to make our subjects reflect more of that socially networked world which we are now working in as educators and information professionals. Our information studies courses are training information professionals as well as teacher librarians and teachers. So what we really needed to do was try to actually bring a lot of what's happening out there in the broader online socially networked world and bring that into our curriculum, so that our subjects were really starting to reflect not just the sort of the content and the context of that, you know, the information world, fairly complex information world we now live in, but also actually providing our students with examples of how those sorts of technologies could be used. Getting our academic staff to be thinking about articulating the pedagogies in terms of their particular subject design. You know, what informs, why am I trying to teach the way I'm teaching? How do I want my students to learn? And so, for example, the immersive learning approach was one that we decided was most appropriate for the social networking subjects, because it's very much a subject, it's, you know, learning by doing. It's a subject where we want students to, if they are interested in using Second Life, we want them to go in and immerse themselves as an avatar in Second Life and go and visit a range of educational islands and information islands, and, you know, come back and report to the group about their learning experiences. Another one that was used by one of our academics was experiential learning, very much still a learning by doing, and that was for an advanced information retrieval subject, where the academic actually was teaching about how search engines are designed and how they actually pick up particular meta tags and keywords to actually deliver the results on the search engine screen. And he actually got the students to go through a series of tasks where they actually built mini search engines on a database, and they were asked to do screenshots of what they'd achieved and shared that on the forum, so the other students could see the sorts of outputs that the students were producing. And if there was because this was another technology related subject, there was a lot of technology troubleshooting. So, you know, while one student might have been having trouble with actually, you know, writing this code, someone else has actually been successful at it, so they were able to share that on the forum. So what's useful there is it means that you've got your DE students are not just depending on the lecturer to be the troubleshooter, It means that the students are all coming together and helping troubleshoot a number of these issues as well. So it means the students are taking more ownership in their learning and taking more of a leadership role within the class. I worked with an academic to support the students in making their own presentations and presenting those to the class in real time in Second Life. And that was really interesting because the subjects are about the preservation of information resources, and most people would think that's quite a boring subject, but it actually deals with a lot of curation and ethical issues, as well as other preservation issues. And so because there are a lot of issues, it's an issues-based subject, this subject was an opportunity for the students to actually identify a particular issue they were interested in, develop that interest, develop a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, which we then uploaded into our laptop and computer screen objects in Second Life. And each of the students came in. Part of the design of that assignment was that students would come in and present for 10 minutes about their particular topic, and the understanding was that each student would also come in as an audience member for at least one of the presentations. So it meant that each student as a presenter would have some audience. Well, we ended up finding that the majority of students came as an audience member for nearly all of the presentations, because they wanted to see what other students were generating for their assignments, and it really provided a really rich learning experience. In terms of a predominant learning space, probably the most interesting as part of the Flexible Learning Institute project was working with students in our Second Life Learning Centre. Now, the Second Life Learning Centre has been designed to basically provide teaching spaces as well as social spaces, because one of the things that we've found with our DE students is a lot of the interaction that lecturers are normally going to be supporting in their subject is going to relate to their academic work. It's going to be relating to either particular learning activities, or it's going to be relating to particular assessment tasks. Now, the Second Life Learning Centre was also an opportunity for us to provide our DE learners with a social space. With our Learning Centre, we have a number of ground level buildings where we've got a main hall. We have a debating setup which houses about 45 people. We have a number of classrooms. Most of the classrooms are designed to hold around 14 people at a time, so fairly intimate classroom spaces to support discussions and so on. Now, we also have a number of social spaces, because what we're finding is that when the students start coming into the Second Life Learning Centre, what they like, the before and after session chat is something that they don't normally get with their fellow students, and some of them actually like to come in at other times to just sit down, their avatars sitting down and grabbing a cup of coffee. So we've got a garden area with a coffee cart where they can access coffee. We have a barbecue area which actually has a virtual barbecue, sizzling hamburgers and chicken nuggets or something. we have a number of our classroom areas can also be converted into sky gardens, and those sky gardens are in like these sky boxes which are above the public space, and so students can actually use those for socially as well, and they can use these. We have like these garden designs, so they can be sitting down at a park bench having a chat. In terms of the range of ICTs that we've used across a number of our subjects for the FLI project, there are quite a few. Facebook has been used by at least 3 subjects as the key asynchronous learning space. So those subjects aren't using the forum, for example. The Facebook group is replacing the forum. That's been really interesting because the students are really enjoying the dynamic that is created in a Facebook group. they've really liked with Facebook is that many of them have been able to access it using their mobile phone, because you've got a Facebook app, and the same with Twitter as well. Another tool that was used by one academic was Amazon cloud computing, and that was a result of us not being able to successfully get support to use a server, in-house server at the university. And so this was an opportunity for the academic to also then show to the students, well, if, for example, you want to be working on a project and you can't get in-house support for a pilot project, there are other places or spaces that you can find server hosting, such as Amazon cloud computing, to actually support your pilot, which you can work on your pilot and then show your results to the organisation, and if in fact they're happy with the results of that, then you might get the server space you want. So that was another example of sort of technology which is a little bit different to some of the other social networking tools that we were using. I guess that's another thing about this project, was introducing a range of technologies to staff, but getting them to also understand that you don't not use a tool because it's not going to be there forever. But, you know, what's the functions of these tools, and what other potential tools are out there that we might end up migrating to? From an institutional perspective, I think it would be really useful to look at, you know, how can we provide some kind of program or some kind of scaffolding that allows staff to play. And I actually did raise this, I think, in my report about, you know, where in an academic workload is there built time to play? Because that is very much a part of being not just a technology innovator, but a learning innovator. The last year and a half, I've had more professional learning experiences that have actually fed my work as an academic than I've ever had. And a lot of that is because the work that I was doing was really requiring me to go out and develop relationships with other people who are also teaching and learning using these sorts of technologies. It's also given me some, I guess, to help me develop my my expertise or my capacity, I guess, as a facilitator. And I know that as part of the Flexible Learning Institute, distributive leadership is one of the key sort of areas or capacity building areas that you're looking at. And I think the Flexible Learning Institute project has certainly provided me within our school with that kind of capacity in terms of leading at a one-to-one level with individual academics as that troubleshooter, that you know, helping other academics feel comfortable about taking risks. Sometimes if you're going to try something new, you do need someone not just to, maybe not to hold your hand, but just to be there or be a sounding board when you've actually finished trialing the tool with a particular group of students. You want to debrief, you want to actually share that with someone. So that was, I found that those sorts of conversations that were happening with staff was really important. And that's, I've learned that is something that we need to be building into the culture of our school more often.